All right, guys, so here's the one I've really been waiting to do. This is the Atari 7800 Pro System. It's the Atari 7800. I never had one of these growing up. I knew of them, I had seen them, I loved them, but I never had one of these growing up. To be honest, it wasn't hugely on my radar to get, but the opportunity came up. There's a gentleman, or a guy who lives about 20 miles north or so of me, and is a young guy who actually cleans out hoarder houses and offered me this for 20 bucks. And it was complete. It had absolutely everything. It had the joysticks, which I've been working on. In fact, I just uploaded a video about replacing the centerpiece in it. And there's a couple of reasons I had to replace the centerpiece. Number one, it was kind of nasty. Number two, Gary stole it. So check that video out. But there's a downside to this thing. I have not tested it to see if it works. I don't know, but there is definitely a downside. Guys, it stinks. It stinks so bad.
And what the hell is that smell? I could have been at a barbecue.
It doesn't smell of cigarettes or beer or anything like that. And thank God it doesn't smell of cat piss. But it stinks. It smells like it's been sitting in old water, which really, really makes me nervous. It smells like it's been sitting in old water for a long time. Now, like I said, I have not cracked this thing open. I have not tried it. But check this out. It still has the peelies. How sweet is that? So here's where we're at with this, okay? I like I said, I really wanted one of these. I'm nervous about this. I have been working on the controllers for it, and I know some people say don't even try and save those things, but I really like them. So we're gonna go ahead and open this thing up, and I'm gonna try and clean it, and I'm gonna try and get it working. Now, to get some of the smell out, I had some people recommend something, and the biggest thing was put it in a box with ozone, like an ozone generator. There's two problems to that. Number one, I don't own an ozone generator. Number two, I don't own an ozone generator. Now, I know that's the same thing, but it's a big problem. Plus, the other problem is it doesn't work on plastics very well. Now, I've used it in cars, I've used it in pinball machines, and it works great, but there's a different solution for this to take some of that surface pong off of there. It just, guys, it's nasty, okay? It is hell. Oh, God. Ugh. But so let me show you a trick that I have used in pinball. What I'll do is if I get a pinball that's skanky and nasty and smells like hell on the inside, after I give it a clean out, or even before I give it a clean out, I'll put a little shot glass of coffee grounds in it, which I have done with this thing for about a week, and I'll tell you, it still stinks, but it is way better than it was. Plus, on top of that, I would also recommend you don't use this afterwards. But, leave this in a tote. I have this in a small plastic tote with the controllers, the cables, and everything else. Like I said, it came with everything. And it has helped quite a bit, but it's not perfect. So what we're gonna do, well, let me show you the rest of this here real quick. I got the, God, this stinks. Oh, smells like horrible. Now it does have the Atari controller with it, the power supply with it. Now I'm not going to crack this open. It stinks, but I'm nervous about it. I'm not going to crack this open. I have another one, so we're going to use that instead, because this just, I'd be scared to even plug this in. And as far as like the cables and stuff, yeah, it's all. Now this is the cable off of one of the CX24 controllers. I do just clean these really heavily with alcohol. Speaking of, when you're doing cleaning, which we're going to do some, please 99% isopropyl. If you use anything less than that, even like a 90 or God forbid a 70, there's just too much water in it for electronics. Because I'm going to be using this to clean the circuit boards, which I've done on the CX24 controllers already, and I use it a lot for that. But 99% Okay, you can get this on Amazon for pennies. So please use that. Don't try and use other chemical cleaners. Don't try and use, degreasers and stuff like that. You run the risk of ruining components. IPA alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, 99% or higher. And much to the dismay of my good friend Arthur, we'll get to him in a second, I have no yum cha. But I would not use yum cha to clean it anyway. Maybe the outside. Really good glass of whiskey would probably do wonders for the outside. But we don't have that. Arthur, I don't have any yum cha. But I do have a Jaffa. So, yeah. I'm spitting Jaffa on the Atari. Good content. Okay. Beverage. I really need to not mix up which one is the coffee grinds and which one is my water. Okay. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open and let's see just how bad it is. Now, the plastic itself doesn't look that bad. And I tell you something, if I were to brave taking the peelies off, which I might, this thing's going to look like $1,000,000. But my game plan is we're going to take anything electronic out of here. We're going to clean that separately, and we're just going to give this a bath. I'm probably just going to tape this over for the label, or I may take a picture of this and recreate the label. I work at a print shop, so I know a guy, and I can recreate this. Let's see when we get to that point. But let's crack this thing open. Screws are rusty. That's not a great sign. Okay, so screws are out. I am going to take a break for a quick second. I just killed my Dalek from the smell, but I'm shaking a little bit. It's not because I'm nervous or anything, but I think I need something to eat real quick. Emergency ice cream. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this for a minute. Do you think if I show one on camera, somebody will send me one? Nobody will send me anything. I'm not big enough yet. Someday. Yeah, someday. I'll be back. All right, guys, back to the fun. Okay, let's crack this thing and see what horrors lie beneath. Oh. This is black stick. This is just basically a black plastic pointer and scraper. These things are the best. If you're going to do any kind of electronics repairs, use these. These are fantastic. You don't want to use metal on stuff, so. All right, let's see. Okay, not terrible on the inside. Let's see if we can. All right, here we go. Okay, so before I show you this, there's a little bit of funk down in there. It's not near as bad as I thought it would be. Then there's this, and guess what? I don't see any rust on here. Holy cow, I don't see any rust. I was expecting a lot of water damage. Now it looks like something has been spilled in here at some point. I'm not going to go through, if I want to take this RF shield off, I literally have to go through and then unclipping from the top. I don't know, I might do it if I have a spare minute, but no plans to on the immediate. You know what, we might, because I want to take a look and make sure everything's good. But what I'm going to do real quick is, put that off to the side. We're going to take out the buttons. Now to take out the buttons, all you're going to do is these little tabs on here. Just push them out. Okay, so power, pause, select, reset. There, now I've got video evidence. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. Stay here. Don't leave. And 1, 2, 3, 4 springs. Okay, the springs are the critical ones that we're going to not want to get in the water. Everything else should be fine. We can give this all a bath. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump these down into some vinegar real quick. So we're going to take a break for just a second. I'm going to get a bath ready for all of this stuff. And for that, I'm going to give them a soak, and then we are going to get into that board because I want to make sure there's nothing horribly wrong. All right, everybody, welcome to my kitchen. Took me a minute. You won't notice, but it took me a minute. I had to do dishes. There were dishes in my sink. I didn't want to show you dishes in my sink. I'm not an animal. But so soapy bath ready. Now I did take the sticker off, and I'll tell you why. It's paper. And so I took a really nice high res photo of it so I can recreate it. But this was paper, and it's going to be one of the things that keeps the smell. So I want to get rid of everything in here that has this god awful smell. So bath time for Bonzo. This is just hot water, warm water with a little bit of, I probably shouldn't show that. I get sued by Dawn. Or, sorry, no named soap. So I'm literally just using dish soap, warm water, give it a really good bath, and then I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. Now, while I'm doing this, I was going to tell you about Arthur. Arthur is Arthur. That's the best way to put it. I met Arthur online in some of my early pinball videos, and he is just about as awesome a guy as there is. He got a hold of me. We talked for hours, and Arthur is Australian. He's down in, I believe, in New South Wales, which is why his channel is more successful than I will ever be, because he's Australian, where most of the best YouTubers, I guess a lot of good YouTubers are from Utah as well. Huh, okay. But so Arthur has been a huge help to me in doing a lot of stuff with pinball and arcade. Go check out his channel. He is quintessentially the most Australian on earth, and I adore him. He is also incredibly kind, wonderfully generous, which is also very Australian as well, but he is also incredibly wise. If you want to know about arcade boards and arcade repair, Arthur is the place. His link will be down there in the description. Please go check it out. Let's give this stuff a bath. Okay, and so these are now going to sit until tomorrow and have a nice dry. I'll give them probably one more rinse in an hour or so. I don't know, it's getting kind of late, but yeah, so we're going to let those have a dry for a little bit. Okay, so let's get back to the board. As I said, there's not a lot on here that looks, well, yeah, it kind of does. It doesn't look great, honestly. So what we're going to do is there's these tiny little pins here that you just rotate around and kind of use a pair of pliers to straighten up, and that will unlock the top, and then you can go through the top and bottom. So let's do that, and then we're also going to take this off of here. This is a transistor back here, and this is a heat sink for it so it doesn't go whoosh and melt your entire life. But so let's go ahead and take that off, and we'll take these off. Uh-huh. So we're just going to go in with black stick very carefully and try and lift some of this up. Okay. Now, let's look on here. Again, it looks like, I can't tell if something's been spilled on here, if this is just a really textured board. I see a little bit of evidence of dirt and stuff around here. A little bit of telltale sign of what looks like gunk coming up on the points here, solder points. Ugh, it's nasty. Oh, nice. Looks like something was living there. Let's take the back off. This is where I'm really worried about. Oh, it's not so bad. I mean, not really. No, this isn't horrible. I was worried. There's definitely a little bit of sign of some liquid. We got some traces here that are kind of bubbling up a little bit, but I mean, God, this thing is, you know, almost as old as I am, so, and I'm old. But it doesn't look terrible. So some of these places where there's a little bit of gunk around them, it looks like there's been a little bit of condensation, and up here as well. I'm going to take and give it a clean, like I said, 99% isopropyl, and just a nice clean, soft brush. And then we'll go through and clean everything else up. And I want to check a few things out too. Yeah, so give me just a few minutes here. Okay, so going through all of it, like I said, this doesn't look terrible. I've looked and I don't see any traces broken. I don't see any components that are, you know, obviously blown or damaged. Yeah, I think I'd be feeling pretty safe to plug this in and give it a whirl. I'm going to go ahead and just dust this, clean it a little bit, stick it back on. Okay, we're back together. Not looking terrible. Is it museum quality? No. Okay, so I think I'm comfortable at this point. I'm going to put this back on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a tiny bit of thermal paste there, just to help it connect properly, because this is one of the main power transistors, and so it feeds a lot of power through there, and that's why there's a little bit of thermal paste on there to make sure it's making good connection with the heat sink. So I'm going to put a little thermal paste on there, get it screwed back on, and I will join you guys back in a few minutes. Okay, that's on there nice and tight, and I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable with this. I think we should be okay to try and plug this in. I've got all the cables. I've got a new thing for here. So I'm just going to isolate it on a piece of plastic over at the test station here, and we will see what we can see. All right, guys. So here we go. We are set up. We are at my test bench, and I've got here one of my favorite possessions on earth, my fantastic Atari 65XE, which I still am going to do a video on cleaning up and getting stuff, but this is actually an Egyptian version that a gentleman I know went through and did an entire rebuild on, made it NTSC, souped up the memory and everything. I love this thing. This is one of my favorite 8-bits that I've ever owned, and this is my 1050XE disk drive that you guys saw a video on earlier that I repaired. So I have the board kind of set up, isolated. I have power supply and the RF cable, which I put into an adapter into the back of the coax cable. Here's a picture of what those look like. And you need one of those to run something like this, or you need to do a full video mod so you can run it on RCA cables or something like that. So it's all plugged in. And I do have to give a shout out. I have a copy of Pole Position 2 for the 7800. This was given to me by my buddies over at Numbskull. They are the best game company out there. They are a fantastic video game store. They're in Roy, Utah. And those guys are so nice. They're so kind. They've got a fantastic selection. Super knowledgeable, great repair work. If you need any modern repair work done, those are definitely the guys to go to, but I'll put a link to their all of their info down below. They are the best. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you. This isn't paid, by the way. I just really like them. So here we go. We are in. I have a controller. This is one of the ones I have rebuilt. God, I hope it doesn't blow up. I am set to channel 3, powered in, fingers crossed. We have kind of signal. It works. Oh, that's actually pretty clear. Oh, that is not bad at all. Whoa! No, son of a... I hate that. I just want to volume. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so one other thing. I do know that this system, 7800s, do play 2600, so I just really quickly want to check. Got a copy of Porky's. Again, from my friends over at Numbskull. Oop. Probably dirty. Do the old trick. Nope. Okay, let's try another one real quick. Space Chase. Fantastic. Ooh, this looks like a winner. All right, so it seems to run and be completely cromulent. This is wonderful. So next steps, I'm actually going to clean the port a little bit, and then obviously we've given everything else a bath, and I'm going to let those dry overnight, and tomorrow we will go ahead and put all of that back together. So for me, it's just going to be a really good night's sleep, some hot chocolate, and a good book. Yeah, right. But for you... Okay, guys, so it's the next day. Bath time's done. These are all nice and squeaky clean now. Time to put these back in. Now, I have taken the springs. I did give them a little bit of a bath in some vinegar. Grab my... Just grab these nice little dry. So remember, these are all crusty and yucky. These are a lot better now. rust is gone. And I've done the same with the screws. We'll grab those in a few minutes. Okay, so let's see. Power. Oh, that was exciting. Pull the screws out. Washy. Okay, so the stink is gone. The stink is no more. And I have decided I'm going to pull the peelie for a couple of reasons. We'll do that at the end. But everything is a lot nicer than it was. And we obviously tested the board yesterday. Everything is working. So let's put this back together. Beautimous. Oh, nice and easy. Okay, now with the screws, one thing I like to do, where did I put that? Oh, there it is. So this is just a Scotch-Brite pad. What I like to do is just, yeah, see how it looks a lot better. Yeah, nice. Let's put this back together. Like, why are you not using your nice screwdriver? I completely forgot I had this. Oh, because I was dead, that's why. Okay. And there we go. There, now it doesn't look like a wet dog's ass, or it doesn't smell like a wet dog's ass anymore. Looks a lot better. Here we go. Oh, there's some scratching underneath. Now the reason I'm taking this off is this can actually hold in some of that smell. Plus, you don't want stuff getting underneath it. So there's a little bit of moisture left underneath it from when I was cleaning it. Okay, so what I think we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of 99% IPA. Gonna wet some of this down. See if Black Stick will take this off. Okay, it's getting a lot of it, but I think I'll go through and do more detailed on it a little bit here, but it's back together. It's looking nice. I've cleaned out along here just with some a Q-tip, a brush, and some IPA down in there. Everything is looking absolutely beautiful from this formerly completely trashed system. Nope, smell is gone. Goodbye, Peely. Yeet. All right, so that's the reassembly, the cleaning. I think we got pretty lucky with this, and I've already gone through and carried out the controllers. So what we're going to do, we're going to plug this back in, make sure it works, and we're going to call it good. Okay, last thing I wanted to do while we were here on this is just, this is the CX24 controller for the 7800. This is the one that Gary stole the part out of. I've been rebuilding both of these. Let's go ahead and just get this back together real quick. Okay, that looks good. So it's the single orange, double yellow, double orange, double red, and those will go there. Okay, while we are working on that, one thing we want to do real quick, I want to show you this. So the only real problem part that we had was this. This thing has rusted completely through. It's absolutely yorked out. It's gross. So what we're gonna do, and I've already let it sit in some vinegar for a little while. Take the Scotch-Brite, just kind of go over it a little bit, kind of get rid of the rust. Much better. Just a little alcohol to clean it off. Now, this is going to go through here. But what it does is it goes through this first. And after it's made it through that, this little piece goes on there. And then, of course, this goes on top of that. Yep. Okay, let's get this wired up. Okay, so the wiring, so you know, goes here, and it's going to go over. It's brown, yellow, white, black, blue, red, green. Cable management. These are all going to go with their mouth going to the left, except for the green, which is actually going to go off to the right. Okay, so there we go. Brown, yellow, white, black, blue, red, green. With all of them, the mouth facing that way, except the green goes that way. Okay, there we go. Let's get these in. Do the springs. Oh, these things are a pain. Ugh, stay on there, you piece of hairy garbage. Okay, so there we go. That looks right. Yep. Now we're going to kind of hold this in place and we're going to slide this over the top, and the bracket here should fit into its slots on here. Fantastic. Nice tight fit. Okay, screws in. Okay, and that feels absolutely fine. That feels great, no problems. This feels nice and responsive. Buttons don't feel too squishy. Nope, that feels good. Okay, let's get back to the system. Okay, so here we are. System is plugged in, ready to test. I know we tested it before, but I've got the controllers in, got pole position 2 in there. TV's all fired up and ready to go. Let's check it out. Sweet. Ooh, there's a person. That feels so much better. Sweet. Okay, so we're good to go. I can clean this up a little bit. There's still a little bit of fuzz, and I think it's mostly just the cable. This cable is old. See if I adjust it a little bit, see how it looks just fine. Maybe I'll replace the cable with a better cable, but I think we're good. I think that looks beautiful. System's looking great. Controllers look good. Everything seems to be functioning, and it doesn't smell like a dog's ass anymore, a wet dog's ass. So I'm super happy with this. This is going to take a nice place in the collection for a little bit before it goes out to pasture to somebody else's home, but I'm pretty happy with this. So thanks for joining me for this. Please like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff so I can keep doing this. But yeah, thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon.